30 years of war, persecuted and scorned behind enemy lines. A small child is born, what will he live for? Fighting for the rest of his life. Gunshots, chemical bombs, or sliced with a knife. Shrapnel within flesh, children poisoned to death. Defend the villages, soldiers killed in combat. A contract that's been cracked.
Minnesotan rapper Tou SaiKo rhymes about where he comes from. But he doesn't rap much about the streets. He raps about the jungles of Laos, where his grandfather's generation waged a secret war against Vietnamese and Laotian communists with backing from the CIA in the 1960s and 70s.
Right here on the wall is my grandfather, SaiKo, and he was a soldier for the secret army, CIA. I never got to meet him. He passed away in a plane crash before I was born.
When the war ended, Tou and his family, like thousands of Hmong refugees, followed their leader, General Vang Pao, to the United States. Many didn't make it out, and pockets of Hmong resistance fighters still remain in the jungles of Laos. Those Hmong who did make it to the U.S. followed Vang Pao to California. Others settled in the Twin Cities of Minnesota, lured by its good jobs and social support.
And now we are 60,000 plus strong here in the state of Minnesota. In fact, Minnesota has the largest urbanized Hmong population in the United States.
Tou, like many young Hmong, tries to bridge the gap between his people's ancient culture and modern Western life.
You guess you'll come? Okay.
He found his voice in hip-hop. And he passes his passion on to other young Hmong
Upliftment.
through after-school sessions at the nonprofit art center where he works.
A lot of the art I do, a lot of the poetry and music, I'm inspired by writing about my culture, my history, my experiences.
Most of Tou's songs deal directly with the Hmong experience, both as a secret army and as refugees trying to adapt to America.
I think for younger generation, it's all about understanding who we are, where we come from, honoring our past and honoring our fathers. So for like Tou, he's honoring them using American medium, poetry, spoken word, rap, hip hop, and he's using that to honor his Hmong heritage.
Okay, this next song is Get Justice. It's dedicated to all the negative media that has came out about Hmong people. It's time to get justice, it's time to stand up and...
In 2004, Hmong culture fell under the national spotlight when a Hmong American hunter shot and killed 6 other hunters in Wisconsin. 2 years later, a Hmong hunter was killed in the same state. And last year, the Hmong's leader, General Vang Pao, was indicted for attempting to buy illegal weapons from an undercover federal agent. General Vang Pao and his co-defendants were allegedly buying the weapons to help Hmong fighters still in Laos overthrow that country's communist government. And while some of Tou's songs protest the Hmong's continued suffering in Laos, he doesn't advocate an overthrow and has no desire to return to life in that country.
For me, it's all about just saving the people, saving the people that's being killed, being massacred over there, and giving them a better life, and not having to live in fear all the time. I mean, that's what I care about.
Tou also wants to ensure that his culture survives well into the 21st century.
Just growing up here in America, I feel like we kind of lose that, doing so many American type things, like, from basketball to hip hop. And so I feel like how can we find ways to reconnect back to our culture?
He turned to his grandmother, Yua Chang, who still practices kutia, an ancient Hmong form of poem chanting.
I approached my grandmother to perform with me and collaborate. So we did this thing called Fresh Traditions, and it's she's doing kutia and I'm doing spoken word, and we're kind of going back and forth. Generation after generation, we've been warned by our elders, lost in what is. I really wanted to make an effort to preserve it, and I know that it's tough to just engage the younger generation in such an art form that seems like something that's only elders do. And but then I know that they're really into hip hop, so I wanted to fuse it somehow, some way. Our roots are deep underground through lands we were forced out of. We grow together with seeds close to the surface and breathe in this new land. Don't ever forget where you came from. Yo chủ nhật cá cho, cả hải ninh mong.